Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson calling President Trump a monster after the DOJ launched a probe into the Windy City's hiring practices. Mayor Johnson touted the number of black officials in his administration, and now he's hitting back at the president.
The president's animus towards women, people of color, working people, this is not a surprise. He's a monster. Period. We have the most diverse administration in the history of Chicago, and he is threatened by that.
So, Jillian, as much as I think the Trump administration does some monstrous things, if you're sitting there with a 7% approval rating, wouldn't you think that you might consider that you've got to do some things differently to get the support back of your city?
I think he's thinking not just different, but if you're at a 7% approval rating, you got to go big. You got to outdo everybody else. You got to go hard charging at every Republican you can find. And that's, what he's doing. Whether it remains to be seen whether that works for Chicagoans. It has certainly for other politicians in the city in the past, meaning they have a proclivity to reelect the same people over and over and over, despite corruption, despite everything falling apart, despite violence, so maybe it'll work for him. I don't know.
Greg, the crux of the accusation is about DEI, which the Trump administration has been going after. We had Lori Lightfoot, who didn't get selected again, who didn't want to call on white reporters, was the big story that we were covering back then. What do you make of all of this?
Yeah, it's weird how we used to think Lori Lightfoot was the worst mayor in history. He makes her look like Margaret Thatcher. Yeah, it's imagine if a white leader said, why do I hire so many white people? Well, they always show up on time, right? Isn't that great? You would be fired. But for some reason, you could be racist in America if you're black. Well, Lori Lightfoot was.
Boy. So we got to talk about Chicago, okay? The reason why we got to talk about Chicago is because woke Mayor Brandon Johnson is lashing out again at President Trump over the fact that he has been investigated for his racist hiring practices in Chicago. Okay, this big dummy was bragging about all the black people that he's hired in the city, right? He was bragging about the fact that he racially discriminates when it comes to hiring in the city, and that has gotten him into some trouble with the DOJ. Okay, they are looking into potential civil rights violations for some of the comments that Brandon Johnson made, strongly suggesting that he is hiring based off race, which is something that is supposed to be illegal in this country unless you're black, right? If you're black, apparently it's totally fine to engage in racism. But, if you're white and you engage in it, oh my God, it's the worst thing ever, right? When you're black and you do it, hey, it's just social justice, okay? So with that being said, while Brandon Johnson is lashing out at President Trump, calling him a monster, I think that he should probably be worried about the fact that his city is not a very business-friendly city, because I got to tell you, things are definitely bad in your city when McDonald's is packing it up, right? When McDonald's is saying, you know what? We got to dip, right? We got to leave, okay? We can't operate in places like downtown Chicago. Yeah, I think that Brandon Johnson has things to worry about, because that seems to be what McDonald's is doing, right? Their locations are disappearing in downtown Chicago. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into this clip from the local news about why this is happening.
People who work in the Loop are often looking for a quick and affordable lunch. That includes us here at CBS.
Some of our colleagues noticed there used to be lots of McDonald's locations nearby. Check out all those golden arches. But one by one, you can see most have disappeared. So we sent our Lauren Victory to find out why.
These vacant storefronts sit just a block off Chicago's famous Michigan Avenue, a welcome greeting of graffiti. Are you getting tired of answering the question, how is the Loop doing?
No, not really, because every day there's something new and improved.
Like the restaurant where the Chicago Loop Alliance's Michael Edwards met us. More on Memento in a moment. First, an assessment of the Loop's health.
The first quarter of this year, 1 million people came down, $280 million in economic impact.
Downtown foot traffic on the weekends is even higher than before the pandemic. Consumers are coming, commercial tenants not as much. High rent doesn't help.
We tend to only bring in large retailers and national retailers, and many of them are downsizing.
One company that left a supersized hole downtown, McDonald's. There used to be one right here between Randolph and Washington. There's also nothing left of the Mickey D's on Adams. The Golden Arches on Clark, not there. No more Big Macs at this Loop location either. 4 McDonald's gone, within a 10-minute walk of each other. What is going on?
I think that would be a question for McDonald's.
Oh, we asked them, but got an appreciate you reaching out reply. Interestingly, McDonald's global headquarters is only about a mile from the Loop. Why are they hightailing it from their hometown? Again, no explanation from corporate. An outside source told us crime and tensions with the unhoused were a factor for at least one of the closures. The Illinois Restaurant Association had another theory.
I know that since 2020, restaurants have seen an increase of 35% labor costs, 35% purchasing costs, and almost 20% in fixed cost.
Now add to the...
So you seen that, you heard that. Okay, so what you have happening here, okay, the media is trying to kind of dance around it. We're going to get a little bit deeper into McDonald's and the history of the troubles they had in Chicago. But the reality is that McDonald's is experiencing high crime, right? That's what they're experiencing. High crime and rising costs, which is the reason why a lot of these businesses are leaving these liberal cities and these liberal states, and they're going to other places. In this case of Chicago, you heard the news claim that, hey, foot traffic is up, but yet they're having a hard time attracting people, tenants, businesses to the downtown area. Now, again, what does that tell you, okay? If you have more foot traffic, you would think that more businesses would want to open up in an area where, again, you have more people visiting. So if you have more people visiting, but yet businesses aren't popping up, that means that it's probably not a good place to do business. Now, why would a place with more foot traffic probably not be a good place to do business? Well, that's because the foot traffic is not all consumers, right? What you have is a homelessness problem in Chicago that has been made worse by the fact that Chicago has spent hundreds of $millions on illegals, okay? So you have that, along with the fact that you have the teen takeovers as well too, right? So think about the quote-unquote foot traffic, right, that has increased in downtown Chicago. If you have more hooligans in downtown Chicago, which, again, Chicago deals with hooligans in downtown Chicago, young scholars all the time, right? They call it violent black teenager season for a reason, right? This is what they say out in Chicago. I didn't make this up.
Violent black teenager season came after a shooting outside a movie theater right by Navy Pier.
For a large group of kids fighting outside.
A fight that led to a shooting.
I'm getting several tickets for shots fired.
The call for help came in just after 8 Sunday. A 46-year-old woman shot in the arm walking down the sidewalk with her young son.
A 46-year-old female tourist who was here visiting from Connecticut. We need the city to gather around right now and dedicate the amount of police resources that the downtown area needs, or we're going to have another summer of madness and mayhem.
Summer in Chicago, sadly, is considered violent black teenager season in Chicago by a lot of Chicagoans. It kicked off early on Sunday when about 100 or so violent black teens descended on downtown, specifically the Streeterville neighborhood, menacing residents, culminating in the shooting of a... No, I'm sorry, you didn't interrupt anyone else. This is a very important question that a lot of people in Chicago are very concerned about. That culminated in the shooting of a tourist pushing a baby carriage down Illinois Street. I've spoken with a number of the Streeterville residents. They say that they're not only worried about the violent black teenagers, what really concerns them is that they feel that the mayor doesn't get it. You say that you're going to have summer jobs. You're going to put another $100 million into these jobs. They didn't work last summer. And the question is simply this. At that press conference yesterday, you said that you wanted a second term. You needed these young black people in order to get reelected. Is this spending the hundreds of millions of dollars simply an attempt to buy votes?
No.
There was Mayor Johnson. My follow-up question. Everyone got a follow-up question. Lori Lightfoot also told me that crime was down. Lori Lightfoot also tried to buy votes by using other people's money. Do you think that you will get reelected using Lori Lightfoot's playbook?
I'm focused on this first term.
Give me the mic, please. You have got your follow-up.
Hi, Mayor.
Could I please get the mic? I'm right on camera.
So I'm just saying that if that's the case, then yeah, it would make sense for why McDonald's would have a hard time surviving, right? Why McDonald's would pack it up, and then you have other businesses that are refusing to come into downtown Chicago is because the foot traffic ain't necessarily good foot traffic, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have the type of money, right, that you would expect to come into the downtown area. In fact, you probably have more, problems, okay, than again, consumers.
Recipe, consumers cutting back on fast food. You've noticed the vacancy signs around, but they don't scare you.
Sometimes, for sure, you see, you come this way and you're like, maybe I'm the craziest.
And yet, Christopher Roldan is betting big on the Loop. Right next to the train, he just opened Memento. It's a fast casual taqueria on one side, sit-down restaurant on the other, with handmade decor, self-serve liquor, and mouth-watering Mexican food.
There's this unique thing about the area that you have tourists and locals.
Más delicioso enamorino. A combo that's done well for the highly Instagrammable Amorino, a gelato franchise Roldan also owns around the corner. He's opening another Amorino in the Loop this summer.
From all of the 300 locations, 19 countries, this one in Chicago is the #1 in sales. You have proofs that this area works.
All the ingredients at least some investors need to dismiss doubts about these sad signs. Lauren Victory, CBS News, Chicago.
Meanwhile, McDonald's is pledging to hire 375,000 workers nationwide this summer, 14,000 of them here in Illinois. It's the company's biggest hiring initiative in 5 years.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. As I told you guys, McDonald's has had a history in Chicago when it comes to complaints about crime and chaos. Now, I want to play this clip that's a few years old, right? It's actually, I believe, from 2022, right? And I believe that Lori Lightfoot was still in office. But I'm playing the clip for a reason, and the reason why is because the McDonald's CEO has essentially indicated that nothing has really changed, okay, when it comes to crime, right? And Brandon Johnson not doing nearly enough. Take a look.
Meantime, the CEO of the largest fast food chain in the world is sounding the alarm about Chicago crime, saying employees are hesitant to return to the office at the company's headquarters. News Nation's Sloan Glass is live in downtown Chicago. And Sloan, the issue of surging crime is really at the heart of this.
Absolutely, Nicole. And McDonald's headquarters is right here in Chicago. McDonald's CEO spoke to business leaders Wednesday and said the rise in crime is scaring employees and hurting recruitment, calling Chicago a city in crisis.
Today, major business leaders have had enough with Chicago's out-of-control crime. McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczinski speaking out, saying he's having trouble convincing employees to come back to the fast food giant's downtown corporate office.
Everywhere I go, I'm confronted by the same question these days. What's going on in Chicago? While it may wound our civic pride to hear it, there is a general sense out there that our city is in crisis.
Several major companies, including Boeing and Caterpillar, announced just this year they will be moving their headquarters out of the Windy City. While McDonald's says it has no plans to follow suit, the CEO says the downtown violence is creating major challenges for the corporation.
We had to have some conversations with city leaders about what was needed for us to be able to operate those restaurants. And it's not going to be something that McDonald's can solve on its own. We need to be able to do it with public sector support.
Yeah, so that is what the McDonald's CEO said about 3 years ago. Okay, fast forward to 2024. Okay, a couple of years under woke Mayor Brandon Johnson. Same thing, right? McDonald's CEO, quote, not nearly enough from Johnson on crime, right? So they are still very, very, very upset, right, over the fact that the leadership in Chicago has not done enough on crime. And look, a lot of businesses are leaving, right? They're watching people leave the city, okay, over the fact that, hey, it's just not a great business-friendly place. And you have Brandon Johnson hell-bent on making it even more non-business friendly, right? That is what's happening here, okay? So, yeah, I mean, you know, ultimately today, a lot of people will say, well, it's a good thing that McDonald's is leaving, right? Because there is less fast food, right? People won't eat fast food, which I do agree that, you know, less fast food, people eating less McDonald's is generally a good thing. But at the same time, I personally feel like what is happening to McDonald's in Chicago is a product of the soft on crime approach from Brandon Johnson, okay? Not being able to deal with the homelessness problem, you know, the teen takeovers, okay? Some of these tax and spend policies as well, too. Again, so it's just really expensive to do business there. And you're seeing the results, right, of these progressive policies. They're driving businesses away, right? Businesses don't want to come into Chicago. You got a few that want to take some risk, but, you know, the smart money, right? I mean, McDonald's, they're like, you know, we can't operate here, right? We got to go, right? We got to move out, okay? And this is why when Brandon Johnson comes out here and, you know, talks about how, oh, look at this all-black leadership. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great, but look at the results of the city. I don't think this is the flex that you think that it is, right? I just don't think it's that type of flex. But, you know, hey, Brandon Johnson, not the smartest person in the world, clearly. And like I said, I think that he should be more focused on stuff like this, the fact that his city is becoming less and less and less business-friendly, rather than lashing out at Trump. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.